In this video, I am going to show you how to use VLOOKUP function and the slider from the developer tab to create an interactive XY scatter graph using Excel. Now, this is the Excel file you download under session 9. And this Excel file contains the date. The dates are entered 5 days after the initial date, which is 15 Feb 2020, and then we have 20 Feb 2020, and it continues on. So there is an increment of 5 days before another date is entered. And then we have USA total cases, USA total deaths, USA total recovered cases, and USA total active cases in 2020. So our initial date is 15 Feb, and the date that I stopped entering this data is on 14 June 2020. Now I want you to go and click inside cell I3 and type number 5. Inside cell I4, you type 10 Feb 2020. Press enter. Go to cell H6 and type date. Cell I6, you type USA total cases. Now I want you to use borders to draw border. So go to line style, choose the thicker line style right at the bottom, click this thicker line style and just draw a border to form a table. Click this border again to make it inactive. Okay, the border is now inactive. Now under date, which is cell H7, I want you to type equal, and we are going to enter the formula, and in this case our formula will be cell I3 plus cell I4, and press enter. So note that from our two dummy variables 5 and 10 Feb 2020, when we add them, it gives us 15 Feb 2020, which is our initial date where we start entering the data based on USA COVID-19 cases. Now, under USA total cases, I want you to type equal, and we are going to use VLOOKUP function here. So we type the name VLOOKUP, type name of the function, and we double click VLOOKUP function. Now VLOOKUP function have 4 values: lookup value, 4 arguments: lookup value, table array, column index number, and the range lookup. Now for this VLOOKUP function, our first argument for the lookup value will be this cell, the date, which is H7. To go to the next argument, we have to type comma, and then our table array will be all this range of cells. Highlight all the range of cells that contain data for the COVID-19 cases, and then type comma to go to the next argument. Now the next argument is column index number. The column index number for the USA total cases will be 2. Column index number for the date is 1 from the table array. Column index number for USA total cases will be 2. Column index number for USA total deaths will be 3, 4 for USA total recovered cases, and 5 for the USA total active cases. Now in this case, we want the VLOOKUP function to output the USA total cases. Therefore, we will type number 2 because the column index number for the USA total case from this table array is 2. Type comma to go to the final argument, and our final argument, choose false for the exact match. Double click false, and we are done. Press enter. So note that on 15 Feb 2020, the USA total cases is 15. If we change this dummy variable to, let's say, 10, because days are entered after 5 days, then notice that on 20th Feb 2020, it is still 15. If we go ahead and instead of typing 10, we type 15, note that on 25 Feb 2020, which is this date, the USA total cases is 57, which is correct. Now, the next thing is I want you to highlight the data under date and USA total case. Highlight. Go to Insert tab and choose under Chart section, choose Insert Scatter Graph, and I want you to choose the second one. I want you to choose the second one, which is the lines and the dots. Click on it. Again, we can include the title for this chart, and the title for this chart is USA total COVID-19 cases, total COVID-19 cases in 2020. Include the x-axis and y-axis as well, the axis titles. So we have the dates in 2020, dates, we'll just leave it as dates. And go to the y-axis and type total cases. We can use frequency as well. Total COVID-19 cases in 2020. Okay. Now, after we have created this scatter graph, go and click Select Data. You can choose different design if you want to. Go and click Select Data. Click Add. And we are going to add this date and the USA total cases. So don't do anything from this series name, but I want you to go to series X values, and inside series, when your case is in series X value, click this cell H7. Remove anything from the Y values, series Y values, and click this cell and say OK. Say OK. After this, we can now go ahead and insert the scroll bar or the slider. Now, make sure you have a developer tab. In this case, I don't have a developer tab here. So to insert the developer tab, go to File, Options, Customize Ribbon. Under the main tabs, check the developer tab. Check and say OK. Now note that you will now have the developer tab. Now from the developer tab, you go to insert, and when you click insert, you have form controls and ActiveX controls. Now under form controls, I want you to find scroll bar. This is the scroll bar or the slider. Click on it and just draw it neatly just above your dummy variables. Okay, go back to this 15 and change it back to 5, which is our initial date. Now, what we need to do is we need to configure the scroll bar so that it knows what to do. At the moment, we just insert the scroll bar, but this scroll bar don't know anything. It does not know what to do. So just right click on the scroll bar, continue right click. Okay, click on that scroll bar, go when it's active, go and click properties, and under form controls, that's where we are going to configure this scroll bar. So I will have to type the current value at the moment is 5, so we type 5. The minimum value is 5 as well, because with any other value below 5, it won't give us the initial date. So to give us the initial date, 5 is the minimum value. Maximum value in this case is 125. Why 125? Because if you type 125 here and add 125 to 10 Feb 2020, it will give you the last date from this data, which is I think 14th or 14 June or something. And the increment change is 5. Don't do anything with the page change. And the very important part is the cell link. Now our cell link in this case will be this cell that contain number 5, our dummy variable. Click on it and say OK. Okay, so again, I said earlier that our maximum value is 125, because if you add 125 to 10 Feb 2020, it will give you 14 June 2020, which is our final date from this data. So let's try it. If we type 125, okay, note that it gives us 14 June 2020. So that is why I said the maximum value will be 125. Now change it back to 5. Change the dummy variable back to 5. Now after you have configured this scroll bar from properties, then properties, so you have 5, 125, 5, page change, don't do anything, and the cell link is the cell that contain number 5, our dummy variable. Say OK. Now when you click on the scroll bar, make sure you click to its, this arrow, click on it. When you click on it, you will notice that there is a small dot moving from one dot to the other. So it's going through this line. So we have already created an interactive XY scatter graph using VLOOKUP function and using the slider, or in other words scroll bar. Now the final thing I want you to do is click on that dot that is moving, click on it and right click and go to add data labels. Now use add data callouts, click on add data callouts and note that it will display the values for the X and Y axis. Just place it somewhere here, make it look neat, resize it. Yes, so you are done. That's the final session, and I hope you get prepared for your exam. But make sure in your final exam question you might come across this. You will be asked to create an interactive scatter graph given a COVID-19 data. So hope that you now have something like this. Now, if we go back to session 9 from Moodle page, I also upload another Excel file which is called Shape of Moon's Orbit. Now, I want you to download it. Yes, click Enable Editing. Now, we have Basic and Amplified. Now, you go to Amplified, and this is a hardcore mathematics I use here, especially the cosine and sine. Okay, cosine and sine. And note that there is a VLOOKUP function here as well. There is a VLOOKUP function here as well. And the slider. Now, this is right in the middle is the sun, and which is the orange dot, and the blue dot is the earth, and the black one is the moon. So the earth goes around the sun, and the moon goes around the earth. Moon goes around the earth. Now, if we click our scroll bar or the slider, note that earth goes around the sun and the moon goes around the earth. Using VLOOKUP function and using slider. But note that this interactive chart is created with the use of cosine and sine, and a very tough mathematics were involved to create this. Okay, so the earth goes around the moon, the earth goes around the sun, which is the blue dot. Blue dot is going around the orange dot, and the black dot is going around the blue dot, meaning moon is going around the earth as earth goes around the sun. And this is a very amplified application of VLOOKUP function, cosine, sine, and the slider. Now this file is from one of my lecturer who taught me Excel, and it comes from Professor Dean Argenbright back in 2009 here in the Vinewood University. So he taught me Excel, and this is one of his work. Now from his work, I just got his idea and used it in COVID-19 cases that we are now demonstrating our lesson on. So we just click this, and yeah, that's the same thing. But this is a very simple one using VLOOKUP function. But the one he created, we have the sun, and the earth goes around the sun, and the moon goes around the earth. It's a very difficult one, especially with the use of formulas and VLOOKUP function and the